Good day, YouTube. 4th of May, 2020, and we are back on the PTO shaft for the 69 John Deere 140H1. Got real frustrated with the shaft reconstruction. Kind of set it aside for a week. Had some help with a friend that has done this before, and I got some confidence back that we can go forward. What I'm going to do right now is continue to clean this shaft up a little bit. I have ground a little bigger chamfer in this end because at first I thought the bearing was too small, but it'll about go on now, but not smoothly. And as we get into this a little farther, I'll explain what I've learned about the bearings in these collars. I did cut through that collar a little bit. I don't think it's going to hurt anything. But getting that old bearing off was quite something. What I've got here is some 500 grit wet and dry because I don't have any emery. And I was unable to obtain any. So I'm going to just put some spray on it. And then try to not make too much of a mess. And just use it like you would emery or something. We're just like polishing a crankshaft here. Tried to chuck it up in my little lathe, but my little lathe has a little tip. And it's too small. So I can't really do much damage with 500 grit. Should be able to just polish. We're knocking high spots off. Let's try that. Be nice to get this shaft put back together and put on. Then I could get the body put back on and get the new seat on and actually use it. I did a pretty good job so far. Let's see if the bearing wants to play nicely today. Not yet. Alright. Let's just work the top half of this, or the top piece of it. Better, but it's not there yet. Okay, we're getting there. Let me stick you on hold for a little bit. I'll stand on this for a little while. And we fast forwarded to Saturday, May 9th on this PTO rebuild project. What I've officially accomplished is I've cleaned up the shaft just using a 500 grit wet and dry sandpaper. So that's good to go. I think I showed all that on the previous video. The bearing now fits the shaft. That's the cool thing. So when I was buying parts, I could get the bearing. The seal that goes in the tractor, John Deere didn't have, but they gave me a number, which I went to Napa and we crossed that to the seal. I bought this plate. It was like 35 bucks or something for this washer plate that these bolt to. You can see a remnants of a piece of one here. Now this is broken. This is the piece that goes on the end of the PTO shaft there. This is the piece that goes on the PTO at the transmission on the tractor, and as you can see, it's broken. When this whole thing let loose, whatever crash happened, it broke that. I didn't get that. Last year I picked up another end, which is wonderful, because I was thinking I was going to have to repair that one, but got this one, and we need to clean it up, and this will go on the tractor end. Okay, so this becomes parts. When I got the bearing, I couldn't get this cage, so I'm going to have to unbolt it, clean it up, and reuse it. Okay, so, and it's alright, it's in good condition, so it's reusable. So I think I'll get this pulled off, I'll get it cleaned up, bolted back on. I don't think I have carriage bolts. I might. If I have them, I'll use them. If I don't, so sad. And we'll use something else. And then we'll start this reassembly. And this is something I've learned via help from my buddy Matt. If I get out of the light, let me put it this way. So there's a hole right there. Right there. Unthreaded, okay? There's two holes. And then there's this one here that's threaded for a set screw. This is a collar. This is loose on here, sort of. I might not be able to move it with one hand. Yeah, there we go. Okay, it's loose on the shaft. What this does is lock this bearing. This bearing, when you first look at it and go, somebody did a shitty job of drilling that. It's narrow on one side, wider on the other. Well, so is this. I don't know what we'll be able to see, but trust me, this is narrow on one side, wider on the other. I've nicked it a couple times getting that bearing off there because I didn't know how it worked. But it was too froze to move. So when you drop this bearing down there, you have to line that up so that this goes inside of this. And then once you get it all in there, the hole that doesn't have threads in it is what you line up a punch with and bang on it to lock the two together, and then you throw the set screw in so it doesn't move. And that's what locks this bearing onto the shaft so the bearing doesn't spin on the shaft. Okay? That's how it works. So, we'll get this cage cleaned up. We'll get some new hardware in it. We'll get the bearing put onto the shaft, locked in like I just explained, and then we'll slide it all in. Put this cage together, and that component will be on this carrier. And then all we have to do with the shaft then is put this whatever you call it, flange, onto the shaft. I have the Woodruff key, and then we can bolt half of the washer on there, and then we're ready to kind of get it over to the tractor. We'll clean this component up, and we'll get the new seal. We'll get the seal put in. We'll get this installed, put it on, bolt this to the washer, and we'll have it all complete. All right, let me get to work. So I got all the parts cleaned up, threw a little bit of primer on them. Didn't try to go crazy or anything, just make them presentable. And on the tractor, I pulled off this rear flange, got it inside. Right here that's got the seal in it. I checked the fitment, I cleaned the inside of this up, and it's going to fit just fine on the shaft. I might clean that up just a tad. There's the Woodruff key. So we just got to put the new seal in that piece, and we'll reinstall it. Then we can put that on the shaft after we clean it up just a little bit. So here's that flange I took off. You can see that the seal doesn't fit in there well. Actually, when I got to the tractor, the seal was completely out of this case, just kind of flopping on the shaft. That's why I knew to replace it there. Some violent thing happened when this thing came apart on the previous owner, and I knew the seal was going to be junk. However, it wasn't leaking, so maybe I'll be a little careful popping it back out. I just tapped it back in with it over the shaft last year or something. So let's I'll put the new seal in here. We'll go clean up that shaft, and we'll keep going. Okay, the shaft is cleaned up, the seal is in, everything's back on. I've left this loose because we'll need some adjustment when we put the rest of the PTO shaft on. So let's go put that together. Parts are dry enough, I guess, sitting over here. Let's go do it. All right, let's see if we can get this right. So I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have to put this bearing cage half on first, because it's got to be on that side of the bearing, right? It's good I remember that. And then we got to look down on top of this and see what's narrow and what's wide. So I think the wide spot's over here, so we got to clock the bearing that direction. See, it fits. How we turn that to make it fit in there, I don't know. And will it fit in there? I don't know either. Because this has been around a little while. So, yeah, this might be hard. I might actually need to get in here and grind on this a little bit, just because it's been abused, and everything I've done to it hasn't helped it any. So I'm thinking the widest spot in the road's right here, so it's going to take the wide spot on the bearing. All you can do is eyeball it. It's not really like there's a line that tells you. You find something slightly smaller to beat on it with. We don't put it. Yeah, I'm thinking that thing's gonna need a little help. Yeah, I've heated the tar out of it. I'll forget that yet. So I'm not sure what I can get in here and kind of grind that corner down with, but I think I better find something. Well, there it is, all installed. Adam. Yeah. It's always something with her. Anyway, got it all in there. It's all lined up pretty good. We'll be good to go. All right. So that's the rebuild of the PTO shaft for the 69 John Deere H1, and we'll be putting a tiller on this thing pretty soon. Appreciate you watching the videos. Please give them a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed, and the bell notification, and we'll do this again next time.